this seminar. Thank you to Mary too. And we like that this presentation is the point for starting a new relationship between you and our group too, and our university. Thank you for talking about the Tallea is my group, about this big project that is found for World Bank and Science Minister in Colombia. The name is Efficient Bioenergy and Bioproduction from Colombia Agriculture, Waste and Coal. But before starting, we like to talk about where are we. Colombia is on the corner of South America, and he has two seas, one on the Atlantic Oceans and one in the Pacific Oceans, which make its location strategic for foreign trade. Colombia has a population about 50 million inhabitants. Medellin is the second city in Colombia, where I live, where I work too. Is the second city of Colombia after Bogota. Bogota is the capital. Medellin is located in western Colombia on the Andes Mountain range. It's about 400 kilometers from the center of the country, where Bogota is. One would take about 8 hours by car to go from Medellin to Bogota, cross to mountain range, or it would take more or less half an hour by plane. The city is surrounded by mountain, and it is at more or less 1,500 meters above sea level. Medellin is considered one of the most innovative cities in the world for its social programs. The mobility programs for the poorest to go to the work using escalator like this. It's my daughter. Metro cable, metro, and tram too. But we have a bicycle route for many students to go from their home to university too. It's the only city in Colombia with a metro, with only 3 million inhabitants. If you compare with Bogota, Bogota has about 10 million, and it hasn't a metro. People now use about half hour to take the job from their home. In the past, these poor people, to go to the job, needed more than 2 hours to take the job. Another programs in Medellin was the transformation of vulnerable area due to the violence, product of drug trafficking, especially by Pablo Escobar, which were impossible to visit in the past. Today, they are rehabilitated area with interesting standard of life and much visited for many tourists from all the world. There are also the program of public library in underprivileged area and education with free food for poorest people. During the reconstruction of the violence area, the population was included and expressed their feeling in painting on wall and expressed in word they decide to move forward. This is a very good statement, like you can see in Spanish, but I can translate it for you. It's in my memory, show me the peace to following to the future. Medellin is the flower city. All this arrangement is made by flower. There are a special week in the year, it's about August, where we celebrate all the work, the people, with a lot of party relating to the flowers. We have a lot of building and home around the mountain and many beautiful monuments. About our university, National University of Colombia is a multi-campus university with various sections spread throughout Colombia, especially in strategic places affected by violence and social vulnerability. It's the only university in the ranking the Shanghai in position of 748. We are about 3,000 professors, about 60,000 students, and all the section is like this is in the jungle. Leticia is the capital of Amazonas, and another is in Arauca, is an son of Colombia, very vulnerable, affected by the violence. Another is in the north, in the island, Medellin, Bogota, Manizales, Paris. And another is in this part is close to the Pacific Ocean, is Tumaco. So we can advantage of many part, many resources, many students from all Colombia. Mines faculty, where I work, is 133 years old of work and rectitude. The mines school was pioneer in Colombia, and it produced the professional who developed the industry in Colombia. Our research group, we are 5 professors. It's me, and we are about 30 students, between PhD students, master's students. We have also undergrad students. Now, our schedule for this seminar is a little introduction, strategic description, taller infrastructure, and taller projects. In Colombia, we have a big problem relating to the vulnerability of the reliable and sustainable energy supply. This problem is caused by the technology. The technology is unknown or take advantage of some resources like a biomass or coal. Normally, these kind of projects are not-profit projects, so many institutions that can give money for finance, for funds, this project don't give the money because it's not-profit projects. Another is we have very few study about the complementarity between different kind of source. It's necessary to understand the complementarity for take advantage, for example, from the sun, from the biomass, integrated in order to produce a very suitable energy. This problem produces an effect in Colombia. One is pollution, deforestation. There are a lot of rural zones in Colombia that use wood to burn to produce food. And another is the non-equilibrium between the use of this resource. In some part, we use some energy resource that we don't have. So for us, it's a very, very big problem. So our country required to take advantage of those about 29 millions of ton a year of agriculture waste in order to add a high value to our natural product to generate a new economy. Is Colombia has opportunity to take advantage for a new economy based on the agriculture sector and to increase the new challenge for new jobs and new employees. Now about the resource availability, we can say that coal is for more than 300 years. But many people say that in Colombia we have a coal reserve for more than 1,000 years. All the coal is spread around the mountain in Colombia. This is the zone where the Andes end in Colombia, but all this zone is, I think, is there are reserve of coal. The another zone is very flat. Maybe there are coal, but it's not explored yet. About the biomass, biomass is very green in Colombia because Colombia is a agricultural country. It's spread for all the country, so it's very interesting to take advantage about that. We have different kind of waste in Colombia: lignocellulose waste, livestock waste, and domestic waste. About the agriculture, the main waste that we need to take advantage is all that coming from the rice, the palm oil, banana, plantain, cocoa, and coffee. We have a very good opportunity because it has a very interesting energy content. One of these kind of Western is all that coming from the palm oil industry. We have different kind of waste. One of them is relating to the empty cluster, the fiber, the waste, the ash. But we have another waste is coming from the water heat treatment that produces sludge, effluents, and biogas. The opportunity to take advantage in this sector is open. In this moment, there are some industry that is producing gas in order to produce energy, electric energy. And this information was supplied by the 4 utility industry in Colombia. The name is Celsia. Another is the livestock that coming from the poultry industry, the swine industry, the bovine industry, is all spread in Colombia. We can take advantage of them because it has a lot of energetic content. But one of the problems that in Colombia, more than 80% is disposed in a light field. Only 3% is energy recovery, is very few. We like to increase this participation for produce energy. The main city in Colombia that produce urban waste is Bogotá, Medellín, Cali, Barranquilla, Bucaramanga, Cartagena. Another problem is that only few states in Colombia, this is the state where is Medellín, use an authorized place in order to dispose this kind of waste. But another, there are a lot of problems because dispose its waste in any place. So the coal and biomass is a very good opportunity for healthy and for socially profitable economy. Biomass is a treasure buried in a trunk made up of complex macromolecules that we must learn to open the trunk door to obtain more than 500 new products with high added value. Coal, but one of the problems for studying the biomass is its complexity in also relating to the scale. It's necessary to study the biomass at different scale. At the level of atomic macromolecule, at the level of the tree. So is our group intended to take advantage of this capacity for studying the different scale. Relating to the coal is also a varied tissue in a trunk made up of disordered graphene structure, which we can order to obtain new products with high added value, such as graphite, diamond, carbon black, activated carbon, nanotube, full LED. This is I would like to show this this kind of picture because it was idealized by Franklin in 1951. When you take a piece of coal, you can heat in order to produce an order. So you modify its internal structure in order to produce all you want, activated carbon or graphite carbon. The coal for producing fuel gas, like a methane, syngas, to produce liquid like a diesel, methanol, ammonia, and chemicals, or to produce solid like activated coal, fibers, and nanotubes. So it's a very good opportunity for us. Okay, about our strategy is to guarantee the sustainability in order to develop a sustainable model to get the necessary strategy for living in full harmony and to guarantee the survival. Our strategy is biomass and coal using a thermochemical process like a torrefaction, pyrolysis, gasification, combustion in order to produce thermal and electrical energy, chemical, synthetic fuel, pesticide, and fertilizer. Our capacity, for us is so proud to mention that our capacity, because we have divided in different topics. One is theoretical capacity. We study many problems at different scale. One is a microscopic or atomic level. Another is in macroscopic level. And another is thermodynamics level. With the macroscopic atomic, we use some topic about the molecular dynamics. At macroscopic level, we use the model at the Navier-Stokes level in order to produce a model to simulate the thermochemical process. At a thermodynamic level, we use it in order to understand the efficiency of the process at the industry. One of these projects is the molecular dynamics, in order to have information about transport, prediction of mechanical properties, thermodynamics information, about the study of behavior of asphaltens, and to develop absorption models. Another used is to understand kinetic model, chemical leaking combustion, model for user fuel combustion models, cold combustion in controlled atmosphere, and to study the volatilization study. Another is to that absorption project. We have a patent in order in this field. We developed a prototype that take advantage from the solar refrigeration to produce ice. With respect to the experimental capacity, we have 3 levels: fundamental level, laboratory scale, and industrial impact. So it's very suggested in our group. We have opportunity to be in different, I don't know, in different positions, to fundamental study, to laboratory scale, but we have opportunity to go to the industry in order to apply our knowledge. We have for equipment pre-treatment, like a grinding, sieving, drying, and pelletizing. We have a specialized equipment like a mass spectrometer, gas sortometer, Chejne, thermobalance, FTR, with that is included the cell in order to have to following the project, the process, and to take information in situ immediately with the FTR. We have a specialized equipment like to take measure on gas, like a micro GC, chromatograph, CO2 analysis, a combustion equipment to take a measure of oxygens and CO2, nitrogens, etc. And we have a reactor for scientific tasks like horizontal furnace, induction in order to produce fast pyrolysis by induction heating, thermobalance, the rotatory furnace that is developed for us and industry here. We use it to produce activity carbon, and the hot plate is also developed for us in order to study fast pyrolysis. Is an equipment we can get about 1,000 degrees per second. We use this equipment for study vacuum and high pressure or atmospheric pressure. We have a pilot reactor for scientific tasks like a fluidized bed, high pressure. I think in Latin America is the only reactor that it has about 20 centimeters of diameter. It's about 3 meters of long. We have a fluidized bed, minor scale. We have fixed bed in order to gasify biomass and coal too. And we have an oxycombustor to use solid fuel in circulating fluidized. Another capacity is related to the application. We have also the experimental level, pilot scale, and industrial scale. One of these applications is the gasification project. It's a project between 3 universities, our university, Universidad Nacional, the another Universidad de Antioquia, and other is Universidad Pontificia Bolivariana. We worked together from 1994 to now, but this was the last development. We start with the laboratory scale, produce a pilot plant. This is about the 10 kilogram per hour. Produce an industrial pilot plant for ceramic industry. It's about the 160 kilogram per hour. Use it, the gas, for dry the ceramic, but we scale to another gasifier at the industrial scale about the 700 kilogram per hour that is connected to the kiln, to the ceramic kiln, in order to produce the ceramic products. Now we continue with this gasification in order to produce energy at atmospheric pressure, at high pressure too. We have another kind project is funded for European community, is integrate the solar energy production and the energy from biomass in fixed gasifier. We integrated from the solar about 5 kilowatt and the biomass gasifier about 25 kilowatt. Normally, all the solar system is produced, is all the energy is integrated to the laboratory. When the laboratories don't need this kind of energy, all this energy is connected to the red, to the network, the city network. Okay, so it's a very interesting project because the European community want to spread this kind of project. So I think the end of this year or starting the new year, we are going to replicate to this kind of technology in another zone in Colombia. Other very interesting project is the pelletizing project. For us, it's very interesting use the biomass in the pellet way. Is sometimes we use it directly, but when you put inside the reactor, there are a lot of problems with burn, with the gasifier, or with the pyrolysis, because it's not uniform. It's very complicated to move inside the reactor. But when you use pellet, you can move easily inside the reactor, and the burn or the gasification or pyrolyze is very easy. This project was financed by the biggest petroleum industry in Colombia. The name is Ecopetrol, but we received some project, some fund from some specific industries. The name is Séminaire, Smurfy Kappa that produce paper, and Compañía de Empaques that produce some special of recipients. It's very important because this kind of industry had a problem with its waste. Waste that coming from the boiler, waste coming from the water heat treatment, and waste coming from the wood industry. So if they can use it in separate way, but it's not possible because the waste from boiler doesn't have enough volatile material, so it's very difficult to burn. But if you use alone the waste that coming from water heater, so it's more complicated because it has a lot of material volatile materials. So is rapidly is they volatilize inside the furnace, and it cannot burn. So our project integrate these three different ways in only one pellet to very, very nice results for them. It's the same for the Compañía de Empaque, that it has a lot of waste from the processes. It's a fiber. This fiber is a very big problem because go to the atmosphere, but now they catch this fiber, and in this moment they are going to start a big project to pelletize in order to introduce to the boilers and another equipment. Another strategy with this pyrolysis is produce a liquid, produce prototype to low, medium, fast pyrolysis. We are working with other people. Is my college. His name is Manuel Garcia. He worked at Washington State. I work with the Zaragoza group. We work with the people in Holland, and we work with the people in Australia. The name is Suris Bhatia. With all these we work together. Some time is visit them with my students, or another time they come here to exchange information, to help our PhD students. So there was a very, very nice relationship with them, and an effective product with them. So now our future goals is produce biol by means fast pyrolysis to produce CO hydrogen, to produce energy for rural zones, to produce pellets, biochar for improve the soils, and to produce prototype. So we are open to work with you, and we like, this is my nice wish, work with Jean-Michel, with Mary. So we are, thank you so much to attend, and sorry for my bad English.
Thank you very much, Professor Chejne. Now we're going to open the floor to questions. So does anybody have a question for Professor Chejne? And don't be shy, student, ask question. I know we talk about pellets, we talk about thermochemical conversion. We have a lot of people in the group working, not directly maybe on pyrolysis, but maybe pellets and things like that. So feel free to ask question. I sure have a couple of those, but I will let you guys speak first.
Okay.
Question in the audience? Okay, so people are shy. I'm going to start right away. Professor Chejne, coal here in Canada, in North America in general, and in Europe is demonized because people say, well, coal is the baddest thing that you can use for energy purposes. But when you have large resources of coal, I will understand that you would use them if you don't have anything else. So how do people in Colombia perceive the utilization of coal to produce energy? Are they like aware that it might be an environmental problem, or at this point the need is too great, so they don't really care about this?
Yes. If I, Jean-Michel, thank you so much, but if I understand your question about the coal, this is my fight with the institution here, because we receive very information from the foreign people, like a World Bank, and told, oh, the coal is very black, very bad, very pollutant. So, but I think it's a mistake. You need to take advantage of our resource. because many poor people live from this kind of resource. So many industry in this moment is changing the use of the coal for another kind of uh, of energetic resource like a gas. But we don't have gas. We don't have petroleum enough to supply, but we have coal. So this is my fight. I intended in all conference to tell, please don't mistake. It's not easy to change immediately our resource to another kind of resource because we don't have the sun energy is not enough. So, but we have coal. Take advantage of this resource. So if this is a problem, if I don't know if I understand your question, Jean-Michel.
Yes, and you did answer part of my question, well, directly the question, but people like not in the academia world, but people on the street, let's say, do they feel the impact of coal, or they don't really care?
Yes, I think that the industry people that use it in the past, coal, is moving to the gas. Okay? So I try to tell them, please, this is a mistake. But you know, all the information, all the international information, you mustn't use a coal because it's polluted. So the feeling of, for me, uh, for many people here, for many industrial people here, is a mistake, but normally it's changing the use of coal for the other. This is the problem for me. But I don't know. It's not easy to convince these people in order to take advantage of the call for the another products, like I show you.
Yeah.
There are a lot of products and energy. Our intention here is to motivate to the government to use the coal in order to produce hydrogen, to produce another products, and to integrate in with the biomass too, in order to form to create a big bio industry, bio refinery. ¿Sí me entiende? You understand me?
Yeah, I'm not saying that coal is bad, and I understand once you have the resource, you should take advantage of it if you don't have any other option. So it's way better to use something that you have on site than buying something from the exterior and be dependent on something from outside of your country. And in Quebec, we have the chance of having a lot of hydroelectricity, so we can go on a high horse and saying, okay, coal is bad because we do have a lot of renewable. But when you don't have other option, well, you need to use it. So how do you package it for people? So you want to, let's say you want to sell coal, not directly, not literally, but you want to sell coal. How do you make it greener? You combine with biomass. You say, okay, we can make coal, quote, less bad if we do mix it to a certain extent with biomass.
Yes. We have a project that we can mix coal with biomass. It's very interesting because there are a synergy effect, correct? Normally, the biomass has the problem because it has a lot of volatile materials. So when you burn rapidly, these volatile material go on rapidly from the furnace without burn. If you use it for produce hot gas, it's the same for pyrolyze, but or gasifier. But if you mix with coal, we did in the past mix coal with biomass and produce pellets that you can gasify easily. You can burn it very effectively without unburn it. Yes, this is I think a very good strategy, because this kind of mix is it has a synergy effect. Correct.
Okay. Just wondering, still on the coal subject, South Africa is is still using quite a lot of coal, and I think Eric could talk about this if he likes. But have you ever considered using like the Sesol technology to convert coal into liquid fuel? What is the situation for liquid fuel in Colombia? You're buying from your neighbors, or do you consider transforming coal into oil using technology such as the Sesol technology?
Yes. The development in Colombia is very, very poor in this area, only at laboratory scale. I think the route that we intended to take advantage is gasification in order to produce CO and hydrogen. Then we put together in the feature drops. We did some experimental about that. It was very successful, but only at laboratory scale. The country in this moment is studying to produce hydrogen by mean coal. The government call the blue hydrogen. See, is a technology in this moment is developed in Japan, but we intended in this moment in our laboratory to produce hydrogen more than CO. So we need to introduce in the gasifier more water in order to take by mean the chief reaction to produce CO2 and hydrogen. I think for me, it will be a very way for Colombia, this route, produce hydrogen. When you produce hydrogen, you can use it in fuel cell or mix with methane in order to put to the network in Colombia. Because it's very complicated, the feature drop process here. We need some like a World Bank that understand that is very important in order to finance this kind of project. This project is very complicated. But another in Colombia, there are motivation for poor son that explore coal to use the gasifier in order to produce methane. In order to produce methane to connect it to the network and use it in the home, at the home.
Okay, and talking about methane, it was my second question. So how's the biogas situation? You talked that there's a lot of people in the cities in Colombia, and for sure there's a lot of waste. So is there any option or any development in terms of production of biogas in the country?
And you ask about if Colombia is producing now.
Yeah, is there any interest from the government or from local industry to produce biogas from biomethanization?
Yes, I think, but is for the future, because now is the science minister motivate to present a proposal relating this area to produce hydrogen. But it's in this moment is only study, it's not implementing. But in the future, because there are a big interest for the German people, the German government to help Colombia in this area to produce hydrogen. So I think this is the way for use the biomass and the coal to produce biogas, but more for produce hydrogen. Okay. This is my feeling. I don't know exactly, but this is my feeling. Okay.
Fair enough. You have a better perspective of what's going on in Colombia, so this is why I asked this question. So is there any question from the audience?
Excuse me.
No, I'm asking the people online if they have any question for you.
Okay.
Okay, then I still have another question, if you allow me. So you talked about earlier that people were using quite a lot of the forest biomass to maybe cook at home. So they were using like wood stove or whatever to cook food and all that jazz. So question about this is, who owns the land in Colombia? Is the land owned by people, or is the government, does the government own the land? And therefore, well, the government can control who takes wood on the surface of the different places. You get this?
Mari, would you like to help me with this question, Mari?
¿Que de quién pertenece la tierra? Si es del gobierno o si es de los colombianos, porque dijiste que ellos podían cortar la madera y cocinar a partir de la madera y eso.
Bueno, normally the soil is for the people, but under soil is for the government. Okay, but it's I don't know exactly what is the I don't know exactly, Jean-Michel. Okay, but the people can take wood from easily without ask permission from the government. Okay, because but there are some private zone, government zone that is prohibited to do it. Okay, but there are not a lot of extent of territory that the people take wood to burn, but this is the big problem.
Okay, just to put this into context, so you understand the question and where I'm coming from with this. So here in Quebec, a lot of people are using wood stove to heat the place during winter, because winter, as you probably know, is pretty cold here. You can get -30. So people are using different way of heating the houses, and one of the way is using wood. So there's different option if you want to do this, but you either own a land where there's wood and you can cut your own wood to produce your own fire, or the land is owned by the government, so you cannot go there and harvest wood, otherwise you're going to have a fine. And same goes if you go harvest wood on someone else's land. So this is why I was asking. People harvest wood on public land and they don't have any fine. Here you cannot do this. If you go outside and you start cutting wood in public owned forests, government will be there to fine you as much as they can. This is why I was asking. Okay. Any other question from the audience? Maybe one last one? Okay. So I think with this, we're going to close this presentation. Thank you again very much, Professor Chejne, for being with us today. With a little bit of luck, we're going to be able to meet in person in the upcoming month, maybe years. Hopefully it's going to be months, not years. So we look forward working with your team. You're always welcome at the BTL. So if by any chance you're in the area, you come up north, pay us a visit. Try to avoid winter as much as possible because, as I mentioned, it's pretty cold. But otherwise, if you come from May to August, it should be nice weather to welcome you here. So thanks again for being here. We'll stay in touch. And again, thank you.
No, thank you so much, Jean-Michel. And so you are, for me, will be a very great pleasure that you come here to visit us. Maybe starting the next year, because this year was very terrible due the pandemic. So I think starting the new year, you came here. For me, will be a very good pleasure that you visit us. Okay.
Of course, it will be a pleasure for me as well. So we'll stay in touch, and thank you again.
Okay, thank you so much too.
Thank you, Professor.
Gracias.
Bye.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you.
Merci.
Thank you. Bye, Professor.
Mari, ¿tú cuelgas o colgamos aquí?
I think Mariceli left the online meeting. What is the question you have for Professor Chejne?
Sí, yes.
Yes, this is still Jean-Michel. You asked a question to Mariceli in Spanish, but I didn't get it. This one.
But if I go out or I need to stay here.
Oh, you can hang up. So I think you should have like a red phone logo. So you just click on it and it's going to close the session. Okay.
Bye. Bye.
Goodbye. Thank you again. Bye bye.